Hey, YouTube, Mark Morris, TotalBeautyBroke.com. Yesterday I was at, how you know me, engineer building a $150 million business. Make sure you subscribe. Right, my 2014 Camry, keeping it running. I replaced it about 2020. I used to have a BMW 325i. Spent $7,000 for a transmission. Okay, say fine, I'll put a set transmission in. Thought it would last a year. It didn't even last. I think it lasted about 8 months. And then I had to put a new transmission in. I said, no more, no more. So then I got 12 Camry, but it got into an accident. Driving on the freeway, coming back, hit somebody that messed up my car. So subscribe. So I've been driving this and yesterday I had like their fancy 2024 Lexus RX 350. I looked at it, it's like, what car is that? The new RX Lexus? That's the next car I'm going to get, probably 2023, 2024, in 2 or 3 years. It was so small. I'm like, ain't no fucking way I'm going to fit into that. And then the same as when it comes to sports cars. I can never fit into the small cars, so I have to get the bigger cars. But right now, what you got? Insurance, maintenance. So if you get a car, you got to make sure you, basically make sure you can afford two. Because you're going to have to put it in a shop. If you put it in a shop, you got to rent a car. You got to rent a car. I did that before. It takes you a month or 2 to get your car back. So subscribe. So what I'm trying to tell you, 3 things I would do to keep my car running. I make sure, always change the tires once a year. Go in for maintenance. Go in once or twice a year. Let them change the oil. Let them change the transmission. Let them find out whatever problem you have and fix it. Subscribe. And then make sure you just, I put Chevron gas in my car, man. I know they say all the gas is the same. No. When you have a luxury car and that little yellow light comes on, trying to put AM, PM gas into like your BMW, you find out the difference. So subscribe. I do those things and I'll get suckered in and buying a new car. I looked at these new cars. I see a whole bunch of Lexuses. That must mean Lexus is probably just dumping their cars out. I see a lot of those. I see a lot of the Chargers and stuff. I don't want a damn Charger. I see everybody with a truck with AI and stuff. If you got a truck, I hope you're like taking it. You're like, was it furniture delivery person? So subscribe. Don't let them trick you into buying a new car right now, man, unfortunately, because it's just too hard to get them repaired unless you can afford 2. So now I can afford 1. Now when I can afford 2, then I can get a car. So to then, I wouldn't waste too much money on buying a car right now, man. Everyone's like, they shopping at Audi's, grocery outlets. Go to some of these places. You see more, what is it, the Wagoneer, like $100,000. You see all these fancy cars in front of these cheap supermarkets. And now I'm going to Vons, and we're going to Albertsons. I see some of you fancy guys buying the cheap food, like coming from Trader Joe's, 1 bag, and you got 5 kids. All 5 of you go eat like from a 16-ounce jar of, what is it? Oh, I forgot it. Nacho, taco, salsa. Subscribe. So don't let them trick you into buying a new car right now. Don't let them trick you into getting a dog either, especially if you're in an apartment, man. And so my next house I think I'm going to get is somewhere in Yucca Valley, a couple of acres. When I'm 60, I'll get a dog. I'm going to get myself the SUV Lexus, probably 22 or 3 years old. Living with a girlfriend who's probably, I'm 50, so I'll be 60 then. Probably want the girlfriend who's 65, 66, or go a little younger, 40. By then I'll be 60, I can only go with the woman who's 40 or so. Younger girls not going to work. It's not so much being the daddy. It's okay to be the daddy, but you don't want to be the granddaddy. If you know what I mean. You can only take so much Viagra to keep the little man up. Subscribe. So I thought I got to hit you, man, because sometimes you get tired of these shorts. I told you about some of the stuff I'm seeing. Dogs, people buying dogs, but they live in an apartment, shitting all over the place. Don't get a dog right now. Until I get my house in Yucca Valley again. Or maybe in, what is it? Not Landers, but Victorville, somewhere with land or space. So subscribe. But right now I want you guys just to pay down your debts. Look for passive ways to find income like me. And just avoid debt at all costs. With 30% credit card debt, you learn to pay with cash. When you pay with cash, you learn the pain. You paying and says, you know what, man, I have bad enough paying $1. Just think if you're paying $1.30 on every purchase. That's real pain. Subscribe.